Let's be real for a quick minute. I mean, guys, you're checking your phone every single morning. You open the app, you look at your listing, right? And there's nothing. I mean, maybe you got a save here and there, maybe you got a view here and there, but no showings, no offers, and it seems like just a lot of silence, right? And then you want to look like down the street, and you remember that the Joneses down the street, they sold their place last year in just 3 days. And on top of that, I mean, they got $25,000, $50,000 over the asking price. They barely even clean the carpets. So you ask yourself, I mean, why is your home, which is a whole lot nicer, it's updated and it's staged, and it's just sitting there like it's invisible? And guys, it feels pretty personal, doesn't it? I mean, it feels like the market is just betraying you. Maybe your real estate agent's not doing the right thing. And you might be thinking, though, it's like, is my agent actually doing enough marketing? Or maybe I'll just wait just for a few more weeks just for the right buyer that will come. Guys, here's the hardcore truth, man, is like they probably won't. Because the problem isn't probably just the marketing. It isn't just the photos. It's that you're just trying to play a 2022, 2023 game like in 2025 rule book, and that just doesn't exist. And if you don't change your strategy today, what ends up happening, that silence is going to turn into a very, very expensive mistake. So hey everyone, I'm Cody Posey, and what I do is I work with both buyers and sellers right here in New Braunfels and the Texas Hill Country every single day. And the number one emotion that I am seeing right now, guys, it isn't excitement. Guys, it's anxiety. Let's face it. We know what the market is doing. Everybody can plainly see what the market is doing. So that's why later in this video, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how do you get a specific psychological trick to your brain that's playing on you that's literally starting to cost you thousands of dollars. But first, guys, I mean, you're going to have to look at the data. You have to realize and come to realization what the data says today. Guys, if you bought a refinance between 2020 and 2023, you've been mentally anchored to the wildest seller's market in history. But guess what? I mean, New Braunfels has officially flipped. And I think we all know that. And we're not just in a cooling market anymore. We are actually in that strategic buyer's market. So look, I mean, go check the stats on, go check me on this. I mean, days on market, it surged to over 100 days. And what that means is the average seller is waiting for over 3 months just to get a contract in. That's not even all the way to closing. Over 40% of your neighbors right now, they had to slash their prices. And guess what? Homes are selling for less than 97% of the list price. Actually, I think it's 92% right now. So the market isn't just waiting for you to catch up. Guys, it's already moved. So you ask yourself, Cody, I mean, why is this happening? And why is it so hard to accept this new price? Guys, it's not because you're greedy either. It's because something psychologists call anchor bias. And what this is the silent killer of home sales. And if you understand what I'm talking about, you can beat it, because anchor bias happens when we rely too heavily on the first piece of information that we get. And what happens is for most of you, anchor is that peak price. And maybe it was a Zillow estimate that you screenshot in 2022. Hell, it might have been Zillow estimate that you got earlier this year, that Zestimate. Maybe it was a house that's 3 doors down that sold for $550,000 when rates were 3 to 4%. So your brain just locks into that number, $550,000. So when a realtor like me comes in and says, hey, based on today's market value, the value of your home is $480,000. And what happens is your brain is just registering that as a loss. And you just feel like you're losing $70,000. So guys, what that is called the emotional pricing, and it is killing the value of your home or your chance to sell your home at a decent price, because you're no longer pricing as a buyer, you're pricing to protect your feelings. But guys, here's a reality check. The neighbor who sold their house for $550,000, their buyer had a lower interest rate or had more negotiating power. And what today's buyer has significantly is a higher rate. So even if your price drops to $480,000, that buyer's monthly payment is still higher than what your neighbor's buyer is paying. And guess what? Wages haven't even caught up to that yet. So if you cling to that 2022 acre or even in June of 2025, you aren't waiting for the buyer anymore, guys. What you're waiting for the time machine to go back into time just to get that value out of the house that doesn't even exist anymore. And you come back and say, okay, Cody, you say this, but why not just try the higher price? I mean, we can always lower it, right? Yeah, you can. So testing the market is the fastest way just to burn your equity. Because when we look at real estate, it has its golden window, which is in the first 2 to 3 weeks that your listing goes live. So that is when the serious buyers see that your home, it shows it's brand new, it shows it fresh on Zillow, and that's also when the algorithm is going to push it. And if you overprice during that window, what happens is the serious buyers will just ignore you because they don't think that you're serious. They scroll right past you because they know the market better than you. And guys, once you hit day 30 without an offer, that's where stigma starts forming. And what buyers end up thinking, they don't think that, well, maybe it's just overpriced. What they end up thinking is, what is wrong with the home? Is there foundation issues? Do the neighbors, do they smell funny? I mean, that's just kind of like one of the jokes I tell everybody. But the ultimate question is like, why doesn't anybody want this house? So now you have to drop the price just to get more interest. So what you did, you lost momentum. And data is consistently showing homes that start high and drop the price eventually end up selling less than the price they had correctly if they would have had on day one. I mean, I talked to a realtor today about this very thing. And what we were talking about, he went into a listing appointment. He recommended the price come in at $650,000. Well, they did not like that listing price, and so they went with another realtor. Well, that realtor that they hired listed it at $699,000. Guess what that home sold for after being on the market for 150 days? $630,000. So versus pricing it right and potentially get competition going and get more people looking into it, they ended up losing an extra $20,000 below what he was suggesting a listing. So what ends up happening is you're chasing the market down, and what you do is you take the lower price for the final price, and plus on top of that, you paid the carrying costs like mortgage, taxes, and utilities for those extra months. So enough with the bad news. How do we just get to fix this, right? How do we get your home sold in this market? Well, step one is going to be dependent on you. It is the mental shift. Something I always talk about in the military, everything is mental. You have to sever the tie to the peak price. That number is a ghost. Instead, you need to look at the purchase price. If you bought the home for $300,000 and you sell for $450,000, you didn't lose $70,000 from the peak. What you did, you gained $150,000 in equity. Reframing this from a loss to an opportunity changes your energy completely. So it lets you negotiate like a pro and not from a victim standpoint. So let's get very tactical about this though, because I want to share a specific number that should change how you negotiate. Now I want you to remember this, 96.9%. And what this is like when I run a comparative markets analysis, what everybody calls a CMA, for my clients, we look at the sales to list ratio. And right now that median ratio in our area is 96.9%. And what that means is the average home sells about 3% below the asking price. And the reason why this is such powerful intel, it means that you list your home, you need to prepare mentally to offer some 3% lower. Now guys, pro tip with this, I mean, before you even list, you also need to calculate your walkaway number. Conversation I always have with clients before listing their home. Because what happens is if you knowing that number will likely negotiate down that 3%, which removes the emotional shock when that offer does come in. So at the end of the time, you won't be insulted. What you're going to be prepared. Now, finally, guys, with this, in a buyer's market, you cannot be passive. In fact, what I'll tell you, in 2021, you could put a sign up in the yard and you could sell a house that smelled like a wet dog that ran all over the carpet and just rolled over. Today, what I'll tell you, buyers are picky. They have options. They are looking for reasons to say no to your home. So what you need to do, you need to make your home undeniable value proposition. So what I tell my clients right now, conditions matter. Deep clean. You have to deep clean. I mean, you need to remove 50% of your stuff. You need to declutter, defamiliarize, because it needs to look like a model home and not a storage unit. If you've got carpet that needs replaced, don't offer a carpet allowance, replace it. Second, you need to do the honeydew list. I mean, fix the dripping in the faucet, Fix the cracked tiles because buyers are going to see a $50 repair and mentally deduct $500 from the price of your home. Don't give them that ammo. Third, staging. And guys, it's not an optional anymore. I mean, it's going to be a mandatory marketing tool so they can visualize what is going on inside your home. You're going to want the buyer to walk in and feel relief. They're not going to choose from a project list. Shift the narrative from the house is overpriced to the house is worth every single penny. So guys, what I'll tell you, I mean, the shift in the new Braunfels market, it isn't a disaster. What it's becoming is actually return to normal. But the biggest hurdle that you may face right now isn't just the interest rate. It isn't the economy. We have no control over that, but it's going to be the psychological bearing of letting go of 2022. It's gone. It's in the past. Look forward. And guys, once you accept the market as it is and you begin to move from being a frustrated victim to a powerful and informed seller, that's going to put you in the driver's seat. And guys, if you're sitting on the market right now and you're thinking about listing and you want to know what your real numbers are, not the Zillow, not the Zestimate, not what Realtor.com tells you, not those algorithm numbers, guys, I want to help. So what I offer is data-driven market analysis that look at pending and expired listings to really try to find your sweet spot for your home. Look, my contact is in the description below. Let's get you unstuck, okay? Let's get you moved. Guys, most of all, thank you for watching, and I love you guys, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.